Hey guys, welcome back on the channel. So PancakeSwap's native token Cake, it's one of the most held tokens. People had a lot of hopes in it because look at this. At some point in time in this past bull run in 2021, it was at over $40. From there on, slowly went down the hill as time went by. Right now it's sitting at $2. Many times I saw it in the past year dipping below $2. When that happens, I think it's a very safe-ish play, so to say, if there's anything safe in crypto, to buy it because it will bounce back up to $2. The thing about Cake is that recently PancakeSwap did a revamping of their tokenomics, so now there's not many incentives, in my opinion, to hold Cake. So I don't think it's a good token to hold in a portfolio waiting or hoping it for going up. Although I do think that it can potentially go way up. I think it can go 2x from here to $5. $5 is my mark. I think it can really hit that, especially as crypto is massively adopted. And BNB chain, let's face it, BNB chain is one of the most used blockchains. There's BNB chain on the 5th spot. This is ordered by TVL, almost $6 billion in TVL. If we go inside BNB's chain protocols, we see that PancakeSwap holds 1.6 billion from those almost 6. It's not often that you see a DEX leading an exchange when it comes to TVL, revenue. They will be in the top 10. There will be a couple, 3, 4 DEXs in the top 10, but usually there's going to be liquid staking protocols taking the lead. There's going to be borrow and lending protocols taking the lead, and it's not common to see this happening. A DEX being the #1 protocol, so many people don't think it is worth it to hold the native token of DEXs because of the nature of people dumping it. People farm there, get those as bonus on top of their yield on liquidity pools, and they just dump it in the market. And PancakeSwap, I think it's the DEX that has been trying to find the sweet spot and just throw new things into the mix, changing their tokenomics as a way to potentiate their token value. At some point, Cake was pretty much farmed by most of the people in crypto. People deposit there. When they unlocked the rewards, people just dumped into the market. So eventually, through time, they tried new things, and there was also VCake recently, which is no longer in action. And VCake was actually something that I did enjoy because it would allow you to boost your liquidity pool positions APR. It would significantly boost your pools. Sometimes even you would have a pool with low amount of fees, but they had such a high farm APR that it just made it worth it. So right now, there's no bonus anymore from locking Cake. Tokenomics have been revamped, and I don't think it's a good idea to hold Cake or buy Cake in hope for a potential price appreciation. Even the incentives that they do have, mainly these syrup pools, which allow you to stake Cake to earn some of these tokens here. This depends on partnerships. Some will show up eventually in the future. In that case, if you're willing to give it a go in these new opportunities, IFOs that PancakeSwap does offer from time to time, in that case, yeah, it's a good idea to have some Cake on the side in order to use in those opportunities. Now, one of the biggest novelties in these new tokenomics model, of course, is that they did increase the burning and they did reduce the emissions. So they're trying to fight off inflation, which has been one of the main causes for Cake for the past couple of years to be just going virtually sideways. So maybe this new tokenomics just turns the tide, but at the same time, I don't think the incentives are there. And let's also address the other thing, it's the market. Cake is being traded a lot in Binance, and not only Binance, but all of these centralized exchanges. You don't really know what's happening behind the hood, okay? This is the difference between decentralized platforms, where everything is recorded on chain, and centralized exchanges, where pretty much they tell you what's happening and you gotta believe them or not. Now, I'm not spreading FUD on Binance or anything. I do use Binance. I think at this point in time, centralized exchanges are a necessary means for people to off-ramp crypto, cash out. But at the same time, do understand that tokens being traded here can be easily manipulated in price, and of course that will reflect on the price even if you buy stuff on chain, should I say, right? After all, it is important to note that even when you see Bitcoin pumping and dumping, there's a lot of market manipulation wiping out over leveraged people left and right, okay? So I'm not trying to demonize centralized exchanges or anything. It's just needed for us to understand that they do play a role in the crypto game, and it is a very powerful role, so we gotta be aware of these things happening, alright? So back on PancakeSwap, I don't think it's all that much worth it. If you're just right now thinking should you buy Cake, I don't think it's worth it. I actually, like I said, preferred the old way where we could use Cake to boost our farm APRs. It would be interesting if they come up with something that would reintroduce that. Otherwise, I don't see a point in holding Cake unless, of course, if you want to farm it, liquidity farm it. Although most of the farms here that have Cake, they are not all that much volume heavy. So let's try here. Let me go on and filter things out just by showing Cake pools here. And for the most part, we see that the volume will pretty much be much lower than the TVL. Sometimes that's the case here with the BNB Cake pair. You see the volume amping up. That's a good thing. Probably this is going to be the most solid pair for you to farm or yield farm Cake. And that's something we can easily see here. They pretty much are very tightly correlated, Cake and BNB. So even if there's not a lot of volume, you'll still be somewhat protected from impermanent loss because they have a 72% correlation. That's for the past year, for the past month, 89%, for the past week, 80%. So it's pretty much always on the green and very bright green. So it shows that, in my opinion, it's a good way to grow your Cake bag if that's something you're willing to. I think Cake paired with a stable coin, it's not the best option. As you can see, the impermanent loss here can be quite high. Although for the past year, we're still on the green, very light green, but still on the green. Nonetheless, I'd rather be with something that has 72 correlation at the very least. So pretty much if you're considering to go into one or the other, it's a no-brainer, I think. Now, this is a very recent pool. If we try to see the performance, this has been only operating for not even a month, I think. So it has only been operating since April the 28th. So let's go back, see the V3 pools. So here it is. This is the pair you see. On this one, there's a 9 million TVL. The volume is much lower. So the APR is not all that much attractive. 12% LP fee, then 4% on the farms. If we go in to see how the fees have been moving, you see there's spikes. There's definitely days where it does print. Personally, at some point, this was a very attractive pool for me, but then I saw many others, even with blue chip assets, outperforming it in volume, in fees generated, and I personally decided to start putting my money to work in some other pools. And of course, the fact that Cake's price was just stuck and not going up in a bullish way in any moment made me come to that conclusion. So if you ask me, is Cake a good token to hold right now or to buy right now? I don't think it is, unless it dips under $2. In that case, usually it bounces back up sooner or later and pumps to $2.50, sometimes even $4. You can see that happened here on December, or very close to $3. That happened on February and even March of this year. So I think it can definitely make a quick flip, earn 50% at least. If you're aiming to do just some short trading with it, then yeah, you can take advantage of that volatility. But again, right now we are on a bull market. Probably I wouldn't be doing so in the bear market, alright? Or if you like to bet on all or some of the tokens here shown on these syrup pools. But what do you guys think? Do you think this new tokenomics model with higher burns, lower emissions will make up for it? Maybe deflation is the key to unlocking Cake's price to go up? So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. That being said, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. Keep exploring crypto. Thank you for watching. Take care. I'll see you on the next one.